Are you ready to weep? Because we are covering the Bette Midler movie, Beaches, which is scientifically engineered to make you cry whilst listening to that song from that movie. B.
Aggressive.
I was looking for Chuz. Thank you for joining that song from that movie, the journey through the very best and worst of movie songs. I am your sincerely apologising in advance for quoting Phoenix Nights host Dietrich. And, as always, we're joined by one of the stars of Krusty's comeback special, Alex.
The star of Krusty's comeback special, I would argue.
Oh, wow. Not Krusty himself?
Nope.
Oh, okay. And completing the lineup is someone who's moving, he's coming, does he hear what he hears? It's calling him, my dear, Ben.
I am often out of reach to most people, especially because I live so far away.
You've ruined my sign-off gag now.
I can't imagine we would have gone through a full episode without referencing the other beach film.
Delete half my notes.
You really padded them out with the beach.
60% of Leonardo DiCaprio quotes.
And All Saints facts.
And All Saints facts.
I would like to know, in the past fortnight, what have you been watching?
Beaches.
Have you actually?
I should hope so.
Well, yes.
Is that the only film you've watched, Alex? Beaches?
No, I watched a film at the cinema called The Canterville Ghost. It was a children's film.
The Canterville Ghost.
It wasn't good.
No, was it not? Was it not? Did it not have jokes for adults like Shrek?
That's what it was missing, really. It just it lacked.
It lacked Shrek.
It just lacked. It lacked any kind of like movie magic. That's what I would describe it. It lacked movie magic. It felt like it had been thrown together in a cupboard somewhere. Because it had a really good voice cast. Like it had Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, Toby Jones. You know, it had a good cast, but it wasn't good.
Yeah,
that is quite a good cast. It almost makes it sound like it's like they had a contractual agreement they couldn't get out of.
Well, it's based off of a Oscar Wilde short story. So I think that's the Stephen Fry connection because he's played Oscar Wilde, I think, in a film before. So I think he's like always like part of the trust, the Oscar Wilde trust or something. He's got some connections. So I think that's why he was in it. I can't explain it why everyone else was in it.
Other than tax reasons.
Yeah, other than Hugh Laurie did once do a TV show with Stephen Fry.
Yep.
And of course, yes, the tax obligations.
I'm doing the finger thing.
What about you, Ben?
I saw a film yesterday? Or the day before yesterday?
Not at the time of listening.
No, so probably about 6 weeks ago now.
Nice.
A film called Past Lives. It's like an American Korean film, which was really good. But the cinemas are drying up with movies because of the strike. As I can tell by the fact that Haunting in Venice takes up half of the screens at my local Odeon.
Yeah, and will probably be on Disney Plus in like a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although, at this time of recording, The Creator is out, which I think actually does have pretty good reviews, and which is interesting for a big blockbuster done by the guy who did Rogue One, didn't it?
Gareth Edwards.
I've seen the trailer. It looks naff.
It looks naff, but the reviews are actually really good.
Naff.
Yeah, it's not an Alex film, though, is it? Alex is more Paw Patrol Mighty Movie.
Well, that was that's not out yet, I don't think, or it comes out very soon.
Counting the days.
Ryder and his team of pups here to save the day. Paw Patrol. Uh-oh. It's catchy theme song.
It's catchier. You're going to take your kid to see that or the new Ken Loach film. Which one's going to be more energetic?
Ken Loach's Paw Patrol.
Can you imagine?
He wouldn't say that.
Poor.
Oh yeah, it would actually be Paw Patrol, wouldn't it? On the way to the job centre.
the Paw Patrol. Wow.
Oh my god, love it.
And what did I watch, you ask?
What did you watch? I asked.
Oh, thank you. I watched the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I did not enjoy it.
Boo! Didn't like all the references to Dungeons and Dragons.
None of those made any sense to me.
You play Dungeons and Dragons.
If my character wasn't in it, then I wasn't interested.
Yeah, true.
But I thought the film itself was just a bit boring. Like I felt like the best bit were all the bits you saw in the trailer. So when I found out there was
not even the bit when he's walking straight over the boulder.
Straight over the boulder.
And he's just walking in a straight line, and they don't know what he's going to do when he gets to that boulder.
And then does somebody say,
Yeah.
Joke's
that was a
failed.
nice boulder?
Yeah, it's a nice boulder.
No, it's the bit when he plays the lute or whatever. That's probably the best bit of the
Oh,
film.
yeah. No.
And it's in the trailer. So if you want to see that, watch the trailer.
Not even Jonathan.
That name doesn't mean anything to me.
Dungeons and Dragons is wasted on you.
Make sure you're wearing waterproof mascara and have some tissues ready to wipe away those tears, as we're talking Wind Beneath My Wings from the movie Beaches. So to find out what was happening in the world when the movie came out...
Time for some history.
Time for some history.
That was so hideous. Big southern drawl.
Molasses.
Now, this film, Beaches, it came out in December 1988, but we're British here. Born and bred. So we're looking at the British release, which was more summer related. Why did Beaches come out in December? That's what I ask. No, we're going to May 1989. The news was boring at this
Great
time.
month. Great.
It was a great month, apparently. But you know what it is? It was not great for movies. There was no... Like, there was the only film that I could see what was actually decent that came out this month, and not Beaches, was The Last Crusade. But I found 3 other films. Now, the 80s, studios were just open to any idea. And they came up with some fantastic straight-to-VHS films. And I found 3 of them. 2 of them, I'm going to give you the synopsis, and 1 I just thought was good enough just to read the tagline. So the films are called Street Justice.
Yep.
Loving it already, yeah? Fist Fighter. And Cold Feet.
As in the ITV drama.
Yeah, just like the ITV drama.
The James Nesbitt show.
See if any of this sells you on Cold Feet.
Yep.
Go on.
The leader of a group of misfits, his girlfriend, and an assassin devise a bizarre plan to smuggle stolen jewellery over the US-Mexican border. Do you know what the plan is?
Put it in some dead people's feet.
They implant the jewellery in a racing horse.
Oh, okay.
Hilarity ensues.
But in its shoes, in its whole shoes. Why is it called Cold Feet?
Judging from the trailer, no.
In its stomach.
Fist Fighter. Now, Fist Fighter sold me. I've already looked online to try and buy the Blu-ray for this already, based on simply on the protagonist's name. CJ Thunderbird, a down-on-his-luck professional fighter, is informed that his old friend has been killed in an illegal fight. He finds out that the killer is a goon named Rhino. And, with vengeance on his mind, tracks him down to Bolivia. The trouble is that the guy works for a local drug lord, and the only way for CJ to get Rhino is to prove himself with his fists.
It sounds to me, Ben, like you need to make a new space on your steelbook wall.
It's already been cleared. I've got an Easy Rider off the wall. Fist Fighter's going straight in.
Blu-ray's not good enough for this.
And the last one is such a rare gem that I couldn't find the synopsis, but I could only find the tagline for Street Justice, which was everything the CIA taught him he's taking to the streets. Now, the Central Intelligence Agency, I don't think is that exciting. So I don't know what he's taking to the streets. Any ideas?
Spreadsheets.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's spreadsheets. The cover looked a lot more interesting than what I think is insinuating. But I don't think it's far-reaching to say that all of those films are better than The Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
So that will be the next film that we cover, because if Fist Fighter has a song, you bet your ass we're going to cover it. Now, apparently another film that came out is this film called Beaches, I don't know. If you do know, it is an American comedy drama based on the book by Iris Rayner Dart from 1985, the novel of the same name. This film was directed by Gary Marshall, stars the likes of Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey as 2 long-standing childhood friends whose relationship ebbs and flows over the decades, standing up to multiple tests and challenges. Before we go into more about the film and the music, what do we think of Beaches?
So I've only just seen this film for the first time.
Fresh off the press.
Fresh off the
Is
press.
that why your eyes are still so red?
Yep, that's why. I feel like, though, I'd pieced together this film from the music video, which we will probably touch on later, and the 1,000 times it featured on Magic TV or Magic FM TV, whatever it was called.
Magic FM TV is a terrible name.
It is, and yeah, had great music videos.
Yeah, here we are.
And you know what? I think by the end of it, I liked it, but it's.
He's speechless. He's speechless.
This is a safe space, Alex. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm almost speechless because I was like, I feel like I didn't emotionally connect with it massively, which is weird because of the ending, so you'd think that you would. But I think that there are better versions of this kind of film that came out around the same time. We've already touched on Terms of Endearment before, but that is a better version of what this film is trying to be. I couldn't really tell where it was kind of like pitched. Like, it was sort of like it was sort of a. I can't even like what type of what genre film is this? It's a film that kind of only could exist in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh yeah. On IMDb and on Wikipedia, it's down as a comedy drama. Is this a comedy?
But is it really a drama either?
Is it really? To be fair, well, it's a melodrama.
It's just a slice of life.
Is it though? Yeah, melodrama maybe, but it never really crosses the line into drama, does it? Like nothing other than the end bit, which like it tries to sell as like an emotional ending.
Yeah, it's really trying to sell it.
Really trying to sell it.
Selling it from the opening scene.
There's no real stakes in any of the drama. It's not like I ever felt like, no, that's a shame. That guy who fancied one of them, but then married the other one. Now they're broken up, but then he invites her back to do another show. It's like, I think maybe because the jumps between the decades or the years or however much time was supposed to pass in between each section that we saw felt so insignificant, and they didn't change much visually. Like, they didn't do a great job to kind of, except for the initial jump from when they are children to when they are early 20s, even though they look like 45, both of them. Watching it, I still enjoyed it. I wanted to know what happened for no reason that I can really explain.
No, I think Bette Midler was in her mid-40s, I think, when this came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're trying to put Bette Midler at various ages, which I don't think that works.
They should have boyhooded this film.
Yeah, or had a step in between. Had some, but I guess like they're the stars, so they had to kind of bring them in as early as possible.
Because the child scenes are quite long, actually.
Yeah, the first scene was
probably the worst bits.
I was going to say it's probably the best.
Probably
bit.
the worst bit. I thought it was the best bit. Yeah,
I thought it was the best bit. The first scene is the best
especially
bit.
Especially the weird, the weird it scene where she's talking to her through the bleachers. Hi, hiya, Georgie.
And what I liked about that was, like, obviously at the very beginning of the film, we'd only seen Bette Midler's character on the stage and then like get in the plane, and we don't know where she's going. But then, then they pan to this next scene with their children, but they focus in on the character we haven't met yet, and it's Bette Midler's character that is hiding under the under like that decking. And it's like, why are they hiding that character? That's the character that we know already.
She eats children.
Hey, Georgie. I just kind of left it feel like, kind of with a smile on my face, like that was a ride. But not like an emotional ride or this was a fun film ride. Just it was a journey of some description.
Yeah, it was like the slow ones that you get at Disneyland where you're like, this is comfortable. But,
it's a boat ride.
I'm enjoying it because I'm sat down out of the heat.
Like when I described that film earlier, the Canterville Ghost, and I said it lacked movie magic. I feel like this film has movie magic in that it really feels like a proper film, to quote Harry Styles.
Proper good film.
Do you think it's musical? It has a lot of musical numbers. It has a lot of like...
I mean, they're not really good.
It's got songs in it. It's got songs in it.
It's got songs in it.
We span a long time period.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is one of the films of all time.
It's one of the... It's a sweeping friendship, it has stuff going for it that makes it feel like a film, but that's about it, really.
It feels like a film. So Alex has said that this feels like a film. Do you agree that this feels like a film?
Yeah, I think it feels like a film.
Well done, Beaches. You've done it again.
Yeah, so like a little context for listeners. This was a movie that Ben put on our shared spreadsheet of like want-to-dos maybe about a year ago. And I remember looking at it thinking, what the hell is Beaches?
Yes.
So I gave it a Google, as you do, and I saw it was some soppy Bette Midler drama from the 80s. And I can't say I was particularly excited for this. But I watched it anyway. And Ben, I'm a little pissed off with you, to be honest.
Go on.
Because I actually enjoyed it, and now I feel like an idiot. And it's your fault that I feel like a bit of an idiot with this film.
You should.
Yeah. Now, I'd be lying if I said it grabbed me from minute one. Like, it didn't. But just like slowly as the movie went on, I found myself a bit more and more invested in Cece and Hillary. Sort of wanted the best for them, and the ending sort of comes around, and it got me. It got me, and I found myself holding back tears for a movie that I like initially scoffed at. I had no clue what this movie was before it popped up on that spreadsheet. No idea about how the song was used. I mean, the music video, the one I looked at, didn't even have this. It was just a picture of her, of Bette Midler. I didn't even know this song was from a movie, if I'm being completely honest.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
You have not been watching Magic FM like me and Alex did religiously.
Yes.
Seemingly, it was never on the box. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Too much 5.
But yeah, it's not a fantastic movie. Like, no one's calling this the best movie ever. But like Alex said, it took me on a bit of an emotional journey that I didn't expect. And for that reason, I'm going to say I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that summarizes as well. It's like it wasn't an unpleasant experience.
No, it's not that.
And, you know, the ending, they do pack a lot into it and they really oversell it, I thought.
That's why I don't like the film, is because I think it's trying to get somewhere. I don't think it's taking you on a journey because it's trying to. I feel like it's just manipulating you to feel something. That's why I just feel like it's got a purpose, and that's to try to make.
At the end of the day, Ben, that's what all art does.
It's like My Sister's Keeper or something like that. It's just
I know what you mean.
You know, it's the same with like the loud, quiet, loud horror films of like they're just trying to make you jump. They don't care about the story.
Yeah.
It's forcing something on you, and that's the thing I just feel is a bit shallow.
I think I kind of fall in between the two of you in that, like, against my better judgment, I still felt a slight twinge of emotion in that end scene, even though I knew it was coming and what was going to happen. But I felt like I feel like I'd been cheated out of it because it hadn't been earned, and I think that's it.
Damn you, Bette Midler. So yeah, this film was not well received at the time, and it's still not. And yeah, it did very well at the box office. So the film had a very good opening in the US. It took about $5 million, and domestically it's grossed $57 million on a $20 million budget. So even with the poor reviews, it made its bank just in America alone. And it also had a very good VHS run. Now, I don't know why that is in particular. The music of the film is almost it's the piece that gets the praise kind of consistently across the board. And the soundtrack wasn't released in the sense of record, but people associate, like, oh, it's Bette Midler. Oh, it's her from Beaches. Like, this is almost one of her standout roles. And now she's in, like, Hocus Pocus. And she had a good stage run.
To a much lesser extent, Hocus Pocus 2.
Is she in Hocus Pocus 2?
Of course she is.
I don't think I've seen Hocus Pocus 2.
It only came out last year, to be fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah, well.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, just family sponsor us. The film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Art Direction. That's all. It feels to me like that's what Bette Midler's going for. We'll go on to talk about it in a bit, but she is one off an EGOT, and it's the Oscar. And I always feel like, especially at that time, she is a knockoff Barbra Streisand. And I don't mean that. Well, no, yeah.
I finish that sentence. You don't mean that what? Offensively.
No, it's not offensively. I think a lot of people are knockoff Barbra Streisands, but in that of a big booming singer, she has very similar sort of vocal range. She's got a very similar narrative in how she's progressed, and she gets very similar roles in the 80s of being a singer on film, which I think I've critically said of Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand is not a good actress, but she's an incredible singer, and because she sang on a film, waspy men in America loved that. And it's the same with Lady Gaga as being a knockoff Barbra Streisand in her attempts through A Star Is Born to get an Oscar. That's a kind of a surefire way. It's not a surefire way, but it's a cheat code to try and get one.
Yeah.
By just singing on film,
or especially that film, A Star Is Born.
Well, yeah, true. That is a cheat code in itself.
I will say, Bet, if you're listening and you want that Oscar, what you need to do is Beaches 2, where it's you looking after helping the daughter of Hillary, but the twist is Hillary's daughter dies on the beach at the end. You got your Oscar.
It's an endless cycle.
I think they find out that the beach is a parasite and the beach absorbs energy. Do you know that's the actual plot of Beaches 2D written in the book? I'm not even joking. That is Beaches 2, and they almost made it into a film.
Wait, that is the plot of the book.
The plot of Beaches, the plot of Beaches 2 is that Cece's raising Hillary's kid. I mean, she doesn't. I don't think the kid dies, but I don't know much else other than that's what it's about. Do you know? As a little bit of trivia, do you know who plays young Cece?
I do.
Oh, it's Amy Farrah Fowler.
It is, yeah, Maya
It is,
Bialik, yeah. And like I said, I'm surprised because I thought that was one of the better parts of the film.
I just found him annoying.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, but she was good though, wasn't she? If that was her voice as well, singing, she was amazing. Should have had more of that.
Should we go through two of the big critics of the time, what they thought?
Sure. What does Ebert say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just before we get on to Ebert, we'll go for the other part first. So we'll go for Gene Siskel.
Okay.
Said it was a mechanical tearjerker.
Yeah.
And that Barbara Hershey's underused. Now,
Mhm.
Barbara Hershey's a very good actress. Like, she's won a Golden Globe. I think she might have won an Oscar. She's nominated. I don't think she's been in a lot for a while. She was in Black Swan. That's what I remember her most for.
It was one of my qualms with the film in that it wasn't an even split
It is not
between the two of them, and in that it seems like the device of the film suggests that it could just be like two characters, like something like The Holiday,
Yeah,
which is a
absolutely.
great film.
And again, I think that comes from when you look at the Streisand films, in which she is by far the person, the center of the film. I think Bette Midler produced this film, so it's a Bette Midler production. They all talk about it's Bette Midler's music. She gets all the musical numbers in the film. You can clearly trying to push that way, and yet it's a partner film.
Yeah,
and that is not working from the off. Even Mayim Bialik is center stage.
yes,
it is all to prop up Bette Midler, and I don't know if that is just pure ego, but I imagine producers at the same time. Bette Midler was a hot shit. They're gonna push that part, and because of that, Barbara Hershey does not get used. Every time I read a Roger Ebert quote about a film, I'm like, I wish I could write like you. He said this is a movie completely constructed out of other movies, out of cliches and archetypes that were old before most of the cast members were born. I can imagine like the typewriter just dinging at that point and just like leaning back like another job well done. But I think he gave it 2.5 stars and
out of 4.
Yeah, because Roger Ebert
as
only
well.
weirdly ever did it with 4. So I guess that's the Tarantino style, isn't it? You just put other things together and make it good. I don't think Peaches is good, but I see what he means. It knows what it's doing. It's paint by numbers,
and it may not be good, but it's fine. And sometimes that's enough because there are so many bad films that being fine is an accomplishment, I think, in itself.
Yeah. So Bette Midler produced this film. She'd signed a multi-picture deal with Walt Disney throughout the 80s, and those films were very successful. I think most of them were actually produced by Touchstone, which was a new production company at the time. But she owned a production company called All Girls Production. She produced with Bonnie Bruckheimer, who I think was married to... Is it Jerry Bruckheimer, the famous producer?
Yes.
Yeah. Did all the CSI stuff to me and stuff.
Con Air.
Con Air,
and
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, he did all that, didn't he? In Armageddon.
Yes.
He worked with Michael Bay, didn't he, basically, essentially.
Yeah. But like everything was pushed towards propping Bette Midler up. And I think because she was very popular on Broadway, she was a huge sort of New York socialite. It was how do we make that transition, I guess, into the money, the big blockbuster movies. On which, looking back, to me, she's famous for this and Hocus Pocus, and that's it.
And The Simpsons.
Do you know? Do any others stick out for you?
I don't know of any others.
No.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you'd have told me she'd done A Star Is Born, then I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, true. We'll go into more about Bette Midler later, but even if I said them, I don't think you'd know them.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, I think we'll all agree, though, basically from that point, Bette Midler is not a movie star, but what she is she is a singer, and a bloody good one. Now, the major song from Beaches is what most people are aware of, the song Wind Beneath My Wings. Now, there are lots of little songs in Beaches, but this is the one, and this is the only one we're going to focus on. It is not a song that was made for this film. Now, were you guys aware of that?
No.
No.
But I think, having now seen the film, it makes sense, and I will go on to that when I discuss the song.
Okay.
Ooh.
Tidbits, I know. Tantalising. So Wind Beneath My Wings was originally written in 1982, so 6 years earlier than its original release, by two writers, Jeff Seabar and Larry Henley. they'd had multiple big-time credits, but nothing on the level of what Wind Beneath My Wings would become. The other songs, I don't even think you'd recognise them. Now, the original version of this song, the first ever known recording of this song, was by the British singer-songwriter Roger Whittaker. In its original form, the song is more of a kind of a mid-tempo, kind of almost like an R&B pop, but was straight away changed to a ballad, which is more in line with the version that we know.
Okay.
His version wasn't released as a single. It just went straight on his album. He called the album Wind Beneath My Wings, but he didn't release it as a single. The song was on so many other albums of the time as well. It was clearly a popular song, but not popular enough for someone to release it as a single. So there was versions by Sheena Easton, fantastic Sheena Easton.
Mm.
In 1982, there was a version by someone called Colleen Hewitt, who is the first known version that was released as a single, but only in Australia.
Oh, okay.
I sent it to you guys. Were you able to listen to it?
I did have a listen to this one.
I did.
What did you think of that version? Because it's it's very similar with some notable differences more in I think just in the vocal range of
The timing of the first line of the chorus is
it's shifted,
different. Yeah, and
It
because
is,
it's almost like a beat off, like
Yeah, it is,
a beat onwards, and it really threw me, and it made me feel uncomfortable because of that.
Yeah, I know it's weird. It's the "You're Everything I," where Bette Midler would like to be, when it's "You're Everything I Would Like to Be," and it's that kind of like shift, just little things like that, which are almost like uncanny valley aspects of it that feel off.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is because we know the version that is most famous. It's not huge differences. Alex, did you grab anything interesting with it?
I think the lyrics were different at the beginning.
There is some lyrical differences.
in her version, because it was the lyrics that I was referencing earlier about its usage in the film, but we could touch on that in a sec. But yeah, it was the same. Like I think she sent a few versions across, and all of them kind of they hit different beats with the wording,
Yeah,
and it does it's unsettling in some ways because you're so used to hearing it in one particular way, and also with those kind of like 80s like synth chimes in the background, and they were all stripped out with the other versions.
Oh, the bloody synth chimes. So yeah, this one got to number 52 on the Australian charts, but did nothing international. The most popular version, following its initial writing, was the... One sec, my dog is making a weird sound. The next iteration that kind of did fairly well was a version by Lou Rawls, which was more of coming more towards the mid-tempo original version, less ballady, more kind of laid-back, stripped-back, loungy R&B. That got to number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100, 1 year after its initial release. That was 83. Did you listen to that version?
I did and didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it works in that way.
Kind of like
No.
spoken word
Yeah,
intro.
A bit Shatnery.
no, definitely not Shatnery.
And his name's Lou Rawls, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's say there's a version I didn't send to you, which was I think later that year. Gladys Knight and the Pips had a version, which again is you'd expect it to be more ballady, but it's still more soft, that early R&B sound. And there was other people trying different ways to it. There was the one that I stumbled upon was the Gary Morris version, which I think came out a few years later. I think that was 85. He won a Grammy for that version, for a country and western single. I mean, Grammys don't mean a lot, as we've covered many times on this podcast, because there's a bloody million of them. But that's an interesting version in that how he sings it, but the backing music. Did you get a chance to listen to that one?
I quite like this one.
Yeah, I you know what? I was slowly, there was something growing on me about this one. Also, the fact that in the video I sent, if you watch the video, that boy be sweating.
Yeah, he's very moist.
He is absolutely heating up. But I like how he does the chorus. I actually quite like it with the male vocal.
Yeah, there's something quite powerful about it.
Yeah.
Even though it's quite quiet in terms of there's only like a guitar twang really in the
Joe
background.
Cocker with it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I preferred this version as well.
Okay, yeah. What is it about this version then? I mean, we'll go on to the Bette Midler version in a minute.
I mean, there are similarities, aren't there, between this song and we've kind of touched on it a couple of times, but the Joe Cocker Love Lift Us Up from Officer and Gentleman, which we covered a few episodes ago. And I think that's what pulls you in. It's kind of like you're willing it to be as good as that song, and his version gets closest to that song.
Now, moving on to Big Bay. If you weren't aware, she was hot shit in America. Or at least she was for 5 decades. She is the winner of 4 Golden Globes, 3 Grammys, 3 Emmys, and 2 Tonys. She was hoping Beaches would get her that EGOT. Never got it. Hocus Pocus also didn't get her it.
She'll get it. She'll get an honorary one.
She'll get a lifetime.
Hocus Pocus 2 didn't get it, yeah. So she originally shot to fame through the first ever run of Fiddler on the Roof, which was, I think, in the mid-60s. She became like a club sensation in New York and various sort of clubs doing almost cabaret performances. She then went on to becoming this multi-million record-selling artist. She sold over 30 million records across 14 studio albums. Do you know what her big song is? Because it's not this. What song is she most famous for? It's a very famous song that you're probably not attributing to her.
Is it The Rose?
You might be attributing to Westlife. It is The Rose.
I was thinking, I'm sure she did The Rose, but I can never remember whether it's her or it's Barbra Streisand, but it is her. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if I think she's the most famous or earliest version of The Rose. There are other famous songs called "Do You Want to Dance" and "From a Distance," which
From
you
a
go on
Distance.
Spotify, there's the one. Yes, these are huge songs. And yeah, when it came to Beaches, so Midler's longtime music arranger was already a fan of the song. I guess it had already been quite well known in the US and some places internationally. He suggested it to her when they were identifying songs which would fit in this film. And that is one thing, because the lyrics do fit well with this film. And I think actually give it a bit of a different flavour. What do you guys think of the Bette Midler version?
I'm not a particular fan of this version of the song.
Okay.
Until I saw this movie, this song was essentially like a punchline in comedy. Like in The Simpsons with Krusty, in Phoenix Nights when Brian sings wheels instead of wings. You need a joke that something's really sad, stick this song on it. And that, like, now after seeing the movie, the songs hold a little bit more like emotional weight for me because of what happens. And her performance comes across a bit more heartfelt. But yeah, I just listened to it again before we start recording this, and I can't shake the sort of it's too over the top and therefore it's funny opinion that I've held for this song for most of my life. Like most of my annoying tics, I blame The Simpsons.
Yeah, it comes up a lot in this podcast.
Yeah.
So to go back to what you said about the lyrics better, this is kind of actually where it jarred for me, because I don't think that the lyrics do work.
I do not.
No, I do. I think the chorus works fine. I think the opening line really does not fit, because it says about, it must have been cold there in my shadow or something like that. And it's like, but that's not what happens in the film. It's not like you've got one person who's like hugely successful and their friend is left behind. That's kind of not the balance in their relationship, because the point is that they're kind of both jealous of each other. There's not like one person propping up the other either, which is kind of what the song is about. That's not really true to the relationship that is presented.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Because I didn't know the story of the film, I assumed that it was going to be more like that kind of story, that like it starts off as like one is comes from a wealthy background, one comes from a poor background. The girl from the poor background has a successful career, and the other person is kind of there in the shadow, as the song suggests. But actually, the first time that they come together as adults, which is the main start of the film, really, the actual how it progresses, the whole thing is that actually all of the other people in their lives actually are more drawn to the Hillary character. So that immediately juxtaposes that end part of the song, because she doesn't see Hillary as being in her shadow, and yet the song is that is literally the line. So it really doesn't work for me in that sense.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it's some sort of like Stockholm syndrome, when you're just stuck with the film and the song, looking at it so many times that I've just forced it to fit.
Yeah, and I think it almost does. And there is a point, I suppose, you can make that she's so kind of like self-centered that she actually redraws it in that way. And that was kind of what was funny when you were talking about Bette Midler earlier and how she had so much control over it. Maybe she actually like forgot that the story wasn't that.
Maybe. That would be fantastic if it was.
Yeah.
And she did the song. She performed the song and the video first before doing the film.
So it made more sense when you said that the song hadn't been written
Yes.
for the film. Was like, well, that makes more sense why it doesn't quite fit. It almost does, but it
No.
doesn't quite.
No, I mean it's hard to think about this, but without knowing the film, what do you see the song as? What, like typical ballad, a dirge, like as a love song, as a song of sorrow?
Well,
Love song.
It's kind of a love song, but it's also
Yeah.
it's also tainted. It's written from a weird perspective. It's like, look how great I am, but I wouldn't be this great if you weren't also there. But it's still saying
Yeah.
like, I'm pretty great though, aren't I? Like, look how well
yeah,
I've
yeah,
done.
yeah, it is though. Yeah.
So it's weird in that sense.
Yeah, it's like the reason I'm doing so well is because you're behind me. That's the
Yeah.
crux of it, isn't it? That is
Yeah.
the.
It doesn't play enough on the sacrifice element of it, but then it's kind of, but then that isn't the film. So
No.
and
Because-
that's why it does make sense to me.
I think because of the film and because of how big this version has become, it is more known almost now as I think as a funeral song. It's quite
Yeah,
quite
that
well
makes
known
sense.
as that more than anything else. Like if you go through the YouTube comments, it's all about people talking about their mothers, their partners, their siblings who've passed away,
Yeah.
and that's what it's become known as. And even that, in a way, I think, just like Alex was saying, I think really well, the lyrics don't work as in that way as well. I think if this was a funeral, the connotations and how it's sung, I think fits a funeral song of a song of respect. The lyrics don't, not quite. Like, you ever know that you're my hero, and that's it, but the rest of the lyrics don't work.
Yeah, it's just the chorus, isn't
It
it?
is, and that's what it's known of. It's just that song and how it's done. And what do you think of her performance and her way of singing? Because I think I've listened to the video version, listened to this on Spotify and various. I just don't think the recording's that good.
No,
Just the quality of it is really poor.
I think the version of this song that I felt I knew is better than the actual version of the song.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just in that, like, I have how the song sounds, but when I heard it in the film and then afterwards, it didn't sound the same as I remembered it sounding. And yeah, the version, it just sounds so overproduced, and I don't really like how it's used in the film because it's quite distracting. It feels like it's not, it doesn't quite fit the scene. Like they've not really tailored the scene around the song or vice versa. It's kind of, it gets in the way of the emotion a little bit. Because I feel like the kind of, the bit where they're sort of sat on, where she goes and sees her in the hospital and then they go to the beach and they sit there. But that's done quite nicely. But then this song kind of like blasts in over the top of it in a weird, uncomfortable way.
Which is interesting because I don't think, even the bit with how she sings, I don't think it's like a blasting ballad. Like, I expect it to grow more. Like, it's so formulaic, like the first verse, just her singing with keys. I mean, incredible synthy 80s keys as well. And then the drum beat kicks in. And then the drum beat gets layered. But I just don't feel like her voice progresses. It almost progresses for like a line and then drops again.
The chorus doesn't come in for quite a long time, though, does it? It takes like a good minute and a half, 2 minutes.
I think there's 4 verses before the chorus.
Yeah.
In my head, her performance is like akin to like an out of form striker who's snatching at a shot. Like they're trying too hard to score.
Love it.
But like when the bit where she starts going like towards the end, when she's going like everything sort of thing, it's too much. Like you needed just to take a moment and place your shot.
Take your moment.
Protect this house.
People say like this is the
Good.
People say this is the quintessential cabaret song.
Yeah.
To me, that means like it's almost not necessarily a mockery, but it's almost a pastiche in and of itself of a ballad. Like it's so formulaic, it's cartoony.
I've definitely heard a pub singer sing this.
Yeah.
This has got to be played at a caravan club.
Oh, well, come on. Of course it has.
I think Alex might have sang it. I think I had someone at the Eastern Park Club get cut off for singing this. There was a sound bar meter where, like, if a decibel hit a certain level, the electricity cut off because it was in a very heavy residential area. And I swear it was a song like this that this lady in a huge sort of like elegant dress, in a working men's club, grim as anything, and she goes to hit that final big chorus, and it just cuts because she short circuits it, and everyone just laughs, and it just felt so cruel. And I joined in, of course. The song became a worldwide hit. Shock horror. Only reached number 5 in the UK, but it was a number 1 in the States and in Australia for some time. This is seen as Biddler. This is Biddler on the Roof.
Biddler.
It won Midler Grammy Award for Record of the Year and Song of the Year. I have to focus every time I'm looking at my notes saying Midler. Young Biddler. And the American Film Institute put it as number 44 on their 100 Greatest Movie Songs list, which I think is pretty high praise.
That is quite high praise.
That list has not been updated in 20 years, but I don't think there's been many that would replace it necessarily in the last 20 years. It's very, very highly regarded for a film that is not.
Do you know what's kind of odd about it? You know, you were talking about the quest for an Oscar. Why did they not put an original song in it?
Yeah.
Do you know?
No,
I just don't understand why. Because that's another reason why I assumed it was an original song, because why wouldn't she have sung an original song to try and get that Oscar? Because that's usually how these films get one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I can only think this song had not done a lot of rounds. Maybe it's one of just those in-house, because so many people in the industry are using it, but just not pushing it, that it felt like, oh, it's clearly got something, and we might as well just give it the big name that it needed. And it obviously worked. So I guess
that's true.
You can't really argue with the results. I think she didn't win it because she's not a good actress. There we go. Let's leave that round off. I'm done.
Hi, Future Dietrich here. So, I'm sorry about this, but Alex's microphone, for whatever reason, we're not sure, didn't pick up a couple of his guesses during the top 5, but fear not, through the magic of modern editing techniques and my wife's attempt at a Yorkshire accent, I've managed to edit it all together and you'll never be able to tell the difference. Enjoy.
Top 5.
So it's me again doing the top 5 this time around. So, what is Bette Midler's best performance? The Simpsons. What's my favourite radio station? Smooth Radio. So, Smooth Radio have a list of the top 25 Simpsons celebrity cameos. Give me the top 5.
The top 5 Simpsons celebrity cameos. Wow. What a list. Bruce Willis.
No.
Really?
Kelsey Grammer.
Yes. Kelsey Grammer's third. Sideshow Bob.
Dustin Hoffman.
Nope.
What? As the substitute teacher from Series 2, it's one of the best episodes.
It's in the list, but I'll come back to that. I'll circle back to it at the end.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking is in there, number 4.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk, I mean, that's a good episode.
No, not in the list.
I think we put maybe all. I'm trying to think of older ones.
This is Smooth Radio, Alex.
Michael Jackson.
Nope.
No, I know it would have been modern, but Smooth Radio's probably not the most up to date. Oh God.
I assume these are kind of earlier ones.
Are they earlier ones, D? Pre 300 episodes.
5 is, 2 is, and 1. Yeah, they're all from, like, I'd say season 2 to season 11.
The glory days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 1 is ridiculous. You will not get it.
Ugh.
We won't get it.
I don't think you will.
Liza Minnelli.
It's not, no.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Nope. I'll tell you, number 1 is so bad that the reason why I said I'll circle back to Dustin Hoffman is because of it's so bad as a choice that I feel like there's something wrong in this list.
Go on.
Should I just reveal who it was?
Yeah.
Sting.
Sending our love down the
Right. Oh yeah. All the way down.
Why is that number 1?
I don't know why that's number 1. Okay, so there's 2 and 5 to get still.
U2.
Nope. But they're in the list.
Good shout. Smashing Pumpkins.
Nope.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. We want Chili Willy.
Yeah,
Nope.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is a good shout, actually.
A clue. Fab 4.
Oh, Ringo Starr.
George Harrison.
It's Ringo.
Oh.
It's Ringo Starr. Thank got it.
not the plate of brownies. Oh, what a delightful fellow. What a delightful fellow. Elton John.
Nope, but in the list.
Go on, D. Give us a clue.
I do an absolutely perfect impression of number 2.
Tom Jones.
It's Tom Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say Barry White.
I love the sexy slither.
Sexy slither of a female snake.
So that top 5, Ringo Starr makes sense. Stephen Hawking, okay, it's a good episode, I suppose. Kelsey Grammer, obviously. Tom Jones, did he have like more than one line?
Yeah, but even Ringo Starr, like he only has like one line in that episode, doesn't he? The one with the Marge's and Artis.
I mean, yeah, but like he's still like a large part of like Marge's story.
That one episode, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sting in the song, and then they make a joke about Bart not liking Sting.
Yes.
That's it. How is he number 1? So what makes me suspicious of this list is that I'll tell you 21 to 25, And I think they've numbered these the wrong way around. So if I was to swap it round, it would make number 5, Dustin Hoffman.
Mhm.
Number 4, Leonard Nimoy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Number 3, Barry White.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 2, Adam West.
Oh, yeah.
And number 1, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that makes more
that-
sense.
But according to this list for On Smooth Radio, Michael Jackson is the 25th best, Adam West 24th, and so on.
Yeah, because like all those characters, maybe apart from Adam West, play significant roles in their episodes. So they're actually proper cameos.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the top 5-ish. Bottom 5, really, maybe. Okay, so now it's time in the episode where we decide what is better, the movie or the song. So, Alex, you're up this time. Go ahead. I don't know why this time, you're always first.
Yes. I think the film, actually. I didn't go into this expecting to say that. Because I think it's like a song that everyone knows. So I thought, like, oh yeah, well the song it's a good song. But then the more I listened to it, I was like, it's not really. it's a wannabe Love Lifters Up. And even that wasn't that amazing. So yeah. So I think I'll say the film.
And what about you, Ben?
I just don't like the film. I don't think the song is incredible, but for some reason, for the last few days, I keep going, so, it's kind of gone in my head more than Beaches will.
Okay, well, I'm with Alex. I'm going with the movie. So
Whoa.
the movie wins.
When will song win?
I'm sure it has won
It's
before.
definitely won before, but
Yes, a few times now.
I know what movie to do next that's going to make that song win.
Is it a Halloween episode?
Nope.
Oh, well, okay. No Halloween episode this year, guys.
Hocus
Because I want
Pocus.
to watch The Bodyguard.
Okay, so that brings another episode of That Song for That Movie to a close. Let us know which one you think is better on our various social media handles, the movie or the song. On Twitter, on Threads, on Instagram, and probably some other places. What is our social media handle, Ben?
At TSFTMPod.
Thank you. So you can help the podcast in many ways. One of those ways is by sharing this on a random subreddit. But Alex, what random subreddit should they pick this week?
Sting.
The Sting subreddit.
Yep.
As in the wrestler or
The
the singer.
Either works fine. Or the film, the 1970s film starring Robert Redford. Whichever one you find.
All three. We need the exposure. So you can help the podcast by signing up to our Patreon, buying our merch, or telling your friends about the podcast. And if you listen to this for the first time and you've not subscribed and you enjoyed it, subscribe. All the links to the various things are in the show's notes. So all that's left now is to do some goodbyes. So it's goodbye from myself and goodbye from Alex.
Enough about me. Let's talk about you and what you think of me. That is a
That's
quote
such a
from
Bette
film.
Midler.
I had to improvise that because you stole my Pure Shores reference.
And goodbye from Ben.
Ewan McGregor was Danny Boyle's first choice to play the character of Richard.
It's just his first choice for every film.
Yeah, that is true.
Choose life.
That's the reason why Danny Boyle's Bond film never happened.
Because Ewan McGregor is Bond. Should have picked Spud as Bond.
So goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm moving, I'm coming, can you hear what I hear? It's calling you, my dear, out of reach. Take me to the beach.